I wasn't supposed to be home that early. The client meeting got canceled, and I thought maybe I'd surprise Mara with dinner. She loved surprises. Or at least I thought she did. When I opened the door, the first thing I heard was laughter hers. It bounced off the walls like music I used to love, but couldn't recognize anymore, Mara. I called out. There was a pause. Then Aaron's voice. Shit, he's here. I froze in the hallway, keys still in my hand. Aaron? My voice cracked a little. Why are you Mara? Stepped out of the living room, her shirt half tucked, hair messy. She looked at me like I was an unexpected delivery she didn't order. Ethan, you're early, I said, my throat tightening. Guess I ruined the fun. Aaron appeared behind her, his face pale, but trying to play it cool. Ethan, listen, don't. I cut him off. Just don't. Mara crossed her arms, defensive. It's not what it looks like. I laughed, short and broken. You seriously just said that? You're standing here with him, Mara, in our place. We didn't plan this. It just happened. It just happened, I repeated. Right? You trip, fall, and somehow land in my best friend's arms. Aaron stepped forward, palms up. We didn't mean to hurt you, man. And what the hell did you mean to do? My voice rose, shaking. Because this sure as hell feels like you meant to destroy everything.
Silence.
The room suddenly felt too small, the air thick enough to choke on. I could smell the cheap wine Mara liked, the one we used to drink on Fridays when rent was due and money was tight. The bottle was open on the table, 2 glasses half full. I pointed at them. You guys celebrating? What's the occasion, my stupidity? Ethan, please, Mara said softly. You're overreacting? Overreacting? I stepped closer. You're sleeping with the guy I trusted more than anyone. The guy who stood next to me when we built the company. And you're telling me I'm overreacting? Aaron rubbed the back of his neck. Look, man, you've been distant. Always working. She felt alone. Don't you dare blame me for your choices, I snapped. You two made this mess. Don't drag my schedule into it. Mara's eyes welled up. You don't understand. We didn't mean for it to go this far. How far is this? I asked. Is this the first time? Or just the first time I caught you? She didn't answer. That silence said more than any confession ever could. I felt something inside me just... Not loud, not dramatic. Just a quiet break, like glass underfoot. You know what hurts the most? I said, my voice trembling. You didn't even have the decency to look guilty. Aaron looked down. Ethan, shut up, I whispered. I don't want to hear your voice right now. Mara stepped forward, reaching for me. Please, don't leave like this. We can talk. Talk. I laughed bitterly. Now you want to talk? After lying to my face for how long weeks? Months? Her eyes flickered. That was all the answer I needed. I turned away, grabbing my jacket. You know what's funny? I said quietly. I used to imagine proposing to you right here. I even had the ring. Her breath caught. Ethan, don't know. I want you to hear this, I said, facing her again. Every night I planned a future that included you, and you were planning one that didn't. She started crying, but it sounded hollow. I'm sorry. No, you're not, I said. You're sorry you got caught. Aaron tried again. Man, please. I trusted you, Aaron, I said. You were like a brother to me. I would have taken a bullet for you. Turns out, I just took one from you instead. Neither of them spoke. The silence was heavier than any shout could have been. I walked to the door, my steps slow, deliberate. You know what's worse than betrayal? I said, my hand on the knob. It's realizing you ignored the signs because you believed they'd never do it to you. Mara whispered something I couldn't hear. Maybe my name. Maybe an apology. I didn't care enough to find out. I looked back once. They stood together in the same room where I once pictured our life, hers and mine. Now it looked smaller, uglier, like the color had drained out of it. You two deserve each other, I said finally. And I deserve better. Then I stepped outside. The hallway light flickered, buzzing faintly. My hands were shaking, but I didn't cry. I thought I would. But all I felt was empty, like my body had already decided to stop feeling for me. Down the stairs, out the door, into the cold. The city didn't care what had just happened. Cars moved, people laughed, life kept going. I took a deep breath that burned, and as I walked away, I realized something. Silence can be louder than betrayal, because it's the sound that follows you long after the voices stop. I didn't know silence could sound so alive. It hums in the walls, in the floorboards, the damn fridge that keeps buzzing every 10 minutes like it's mocking me. I stare at the couch where Mara used to fall asleep watching bad TV shows. There's a dent where she used to curl up. I still haven't fixed it. Maybe I'm waiting for her to come back and do it herself. My phone lights up. A message. For a second, I hope it's her. I hate myself for that. It's Erin. Man, we need to talk about the company. Send me your signature on the transfer papers. Investors want clarity. That's it. No apology. No guilt. Just business, I call him. He answers on the second ring. Ethan, he says, voice low, to calm. Hey man, that's all you've got? I say. You sleep with my girlfriend and text me like it's a Monday morning meeting? He exhales. I didn't want to fight. You already did, I snap. You just chose a different weapon. He stays quiet. I can hear chatter behind him. Probably their office. Our office. So that's it? I ask. You get the company, the girl, and I get what? Empty walls? Don't make it sound like that, he says. You know this isn't personal. I laugh, sharp and bitter. You took everything personal to me and called it business. That's impressive even for you, he sighs. Look, I just want to move on. You should too. Sign the papers, take your share, and start over. Start over. I whisper, you don't get to tell me how to rebuild what you burned down. He says nothing. Then quietly, it's better this way. For who? I ask. Clicky hangs up. I stare at my phone until the screen goes dark. The papers arrive the next morning. A neat envelope, my name typed on the front like a punchline. Inside legal jargon, my exit from the company I built. Mara's signature's there too. Her handwriting looks smaller than I remember. I whisper to the empty room. You couldn't even write me a note. The walls echo back. Nothing. Later, Clara calls. My sister, you sound like hell, she says. Thanks for the honesty. You've been ignoring my messages. Are you eating? I think so, I mumble. Hard to tell, she hesitates. You want me to come over? No, I'm fine. Ethan, you're not. I don't want company. She sighs. Then at least promise you won't do something stupid. I manage a weak laugh. Define stupid. You know what I mean? Relax. I'm not planning to jump off a bridge. I look around the apartment. I just need time to figure out who the hell I am now. Her voice softens. You're still you. You just forgot for a while. Yeah, I say quietly. Feels like he died with them. Then bring him back, she says. Piece by piece. After she hangs up, I walk to the balcony. The city looks the same and different, glowing, alive. People rushing, laughing, living. I feel like a ghost watching from the glass. The envelope is still on the table. I pick it up, staring at the signature lines. I could sign it and be done. Walk away clean, but something inside me refuses. I light a match. The flame flickers, small but certain. I touch it to the corner of the paper. It catches fast, curling, blackening. The smell fills the room, burning ink, smoke. And the end of everything I thought I was. I whisper, you can have each other, but you don't get to have me. The ashes drift into the sink. I turn on the tap and watch them swirl down the drain. The apartment feels colder, but lighter somehow. I pour a glass of water, sit on the floor, and finally breathe. For the first time in weeks, I don't reach for my phone. I don't check her messages. I don't replay that night in my head. I just sit there, watching the smoke fade, and in that quiet, I realize something silence doesn't just hurt. It heals too, once you stop fighting it. Asterisk, going back to work felt like walking into a room where everyone had already chosen a side. No one said anything, but their eyes did. "Morning," I muttered, setting my bag down. A few polite nods. No smiles. Jason, the intern, tried too hard. "Hey, Ethan. Good to have you back, man." "Yeah," I said flatly. "Good to be?" "Somewhere." He laughed awkwardly, then disappeared faster than steam. I opened my laptop, pretending not to feel the stares. The clicks of keyboards filled the silence like rain on metal. I heard someone whisper, "He found them together, right?" Another voice, softer. "Yeah, his best friend and his girlfriend." Messed up. I clenched my jaw. Pretended not to hear. By lunch, my inbox was a graveyard. No updates, no meetings. Just emptiness. My name wasn't on any project lists anymore. Mara's laughter used to echo through this place. Now, it haunted it. I scrolled my phone without meaning to. Social media hit harder than any rumor. There she was, Mara Hayes, co-founder of Enix, Solutions, smiling beside Aaron. Their arms brushing, champagne glasses raised. The caption, "New beginnings. Proud of what we built." I stared at the photo until the screen dimmed. "Ethan." I looked up. My manager, Drew, stood near my desk, voice cautious. "Good to see you back." "Is it?" I asked. He cleared his throat. "I just mean, you've been through a lot. Take your time adjusting." "Adjusting to what?" He hesitated. "You know, to change?" "Right," I said. "The kind that steals everything but your name." He didn't answer, just nodded and walked off by 5. I couldn't stand it anymore. The office air felt fake, like everyone had agreed to erase the truth so business could stay clean. I left without saying goodbye. The city looked alive outside, people laughing, holding coffee, scrolling their phones. To them, it was just another Tuesday. To me, it was the day I realized how easily the world forgets. When I got home, Clara was waiting at my door, arms crossed. "You look terrible," she said. "Nice to see you too," I muttered. Unlocking the door, I called 3 times. She followed me in. "You didn't answer." "It didn't feel like talking." "Well, I didn't feel like worrying," she shot back. Yet here I am. I dropped my bag on the couch. I went to work. That's progress, I guess. She looked around the apartment. Still depressing, though. "Thanks for the motivation." She sighed, sitting across from me. "So, how was it?" "Loud," I said, "but not where it counts." "What do you mean?" "Everyone talked around me. No one to me. Like if they ignored the mess, it wouldn't stain them." She tilted her head. "And you?" I pretended it didn't matter. I laughed quietly. "Guess I'm learning fast." She leaned forward. "Ethan, you can't live like this, choking on other people's silence." "What do you want me to do, Clara?" "Throw a public tantrum. Smash a window. I want you to move on." I looked at her. "You make it sound easy." "It's not," she said softly. "But you deserve peace, not payback." "Peace doesn't feel real," I murmured. "Not yet." She sighed. "Then what does?" "Pain," I said. "That's the only thing that's honest right now." Her eyes softened. "You think revenge will fix that?" "I don't know. Yes, you do." I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. "Maybe I just want them to feel what I felt. Just once." She shook her head. "They already will, Ethan. That's how karma works. You don't have to lift a finger." "Yeah," I said bitterly. "Then karma needs to hurry the hell up." She just stood, walked over, and hugged me. For a second, I didn't move. Then I whispered, "I hate that I still miss her." "I know," she said. "That's how heartbreak lies. It makes you believe missing someone means you still love them." "Maybe it does." She pulled away. "Then let it fade. Don't feed it." When she left, the apartment fell quiet again. I sat there for hours, staring at the window's reflection me. A stranger wearing my own face. On my phone, their photos still glowed. Perfect smiles frozen in time, I whispered. Betrayal doesn't end when they leave. It lingers like smoke after a fire you didn't start. I turned the phone off and sat in the dark. The world had moved on, but I wasn't ready to pretend yet. Clara's words stayed with me. You deserve peace, not payback. Peace sounded beautiful. Unreal, but beautiful. I wasn't there yet. One morning before sunrise, I woke up sweating. My chest felt like it was full of noise I couldn't mute. I put on my old sneakers and went outside. The air was cold enough to sting. I ran. No destination, no pace, just motion. By the time the sun broke, I was gasping, but something in me had shifted. When I got home, my phone was lighting up missed calls, unread messages. Jason, Drew, Clara. I ignored them all. Later that day, Clara showed up again. You're ghosting everyone, she said, stepping inside. I'm not ghosting, I said. I'm pruning. She frowned. Pruning? Cutting dead branches so the tree can grow again. She crossed her arms. You mean people? I mean distractions? Ethan, isolation isn't strength. It's focus, I said. And I need it. She studied me. You're different. I'm becoming, I said. Not different. Becoming, she sighed. Just promise you won't burn yourself trying to glow. I smiled faintly. No promises. After she left, I deleted half my contacts. Every chat that started with, hey, how are you holding up? Gone. I wanted silence. Structure. So I built one. 5 a.m. run. 6 a.m. cold shower. 7 a.m. coffee. No sugar. 8 a.m. work. Work didn't mean the office anymore. I quit 2 days later. Walked into Drew's office, handed him my resignation letter. He blinked. You're serious? Completely? Ethan, don't make emotional decisions. This is emotional, I said. But it's also necessary. He tried to convince me to stay. Said I was talented, valuable, but every word felt hollow. I shook his hand and walked out without looking back. That night I opened my laptop. Blank screen. Empty editor. And a question. What now? I started watching tutorials coding, software architecture, neural networks, stuff Aaron used to brag about knowing. Every line of code felt like defiance. Every error was a punch I refused to dodge. Clara called again. You're alive, right? Barely. What are you doing, building? What exactly, myself? I said. She laughed softly. You sound intense. Good. You're still angry. Not at them, I said. At who I was. I let comfort kill my edge. You're human, Ethan. No, I said. I was human. Now I'm fire. She went quiet. That's not healthy. It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be transformative. She didn't argue this time. Just whispered, don't lose your heart while finding your strength. But maybe losing it was the point. Weeks passed. Days blurred into code, sweat, and silence. I ran every morning until the world disappeared beneath my breath. Sometimes I'd see my reflection in windows, hair damp, eyes fierce, and think, who is this person? Then I'd smile. Someone alive. One night I went to a small cafe, laptop under my arm. The barista recognized me. Used to come here with, I cut her off. Black coffee, please. She hesitated, then nodded. Coming right up. At the corner table, I typed until my fingers hurt. The project was small, an app to connect freelancers anonymously, but it felt like freedom. Each finished function was a victory. When Clara called that night, I answered. So, she said, how's the hermit life treating you? Efficient, I said. You eating properly? Defined properly, Ethan?
Yes.
For once, I mean it. She paused. What's changed? I stopped waiting for closure. That's progress. Closure's just a polite word for approval. I don't need it anymore. She exhaled. You really are changing. I told you, I said. I'm not healing, I'm evolving. You sound like one of those motivational posters. Maybe I'm finally believing one. We both laughed quietly. It was the first time laughter didn't hurt. When I hung up, I realized something I hadn't thought about Mara all day. Not once. That realization was louder than any heartbreak. The next morning, I ran farther than ever before. The city glowed gold. The air burned in my lungs, but it felt right, at a red light. An old man looked at me and said, you look like you're running from ghosts. I smiled. No, I said. I'm running toward something. Toward what? Myself. He nodded, as if he understood. That night, I finished my prototype. It wasn't perfect, but it was mine, every line of logic, every late-night error fixed by stubbornness. When the screen flashed "Build successful," I leaned back and whispered, "If love made me weak, pain made me sharp." For the first time, I didn't mean it like a threat. I meant it like a promise. Later, Clara texted, "Proud of you," I replied. "Don't be proud yet." "I'm just starting." She sent a smiley face.
What?
"Then keep going." And I did. I woke earlier, worked longer, thought clearer. No alcohol, no pity. No endless scrolling through memories that didn't deserve my time. Every sunrise felt like revenge against who I used to be. But it wasn't about Mara anymore, or Aaron, or even the past. It was about standing up in the ruins and saying, "I'm still here." The pain hadn't vanished. Tit had evolved like metal forged in fire. I wasn't chasing peace anymore. I was creating it. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. Asterisk, the email arrived at 2:13 a.m. subject line. Let's bury the past. I stared at it for a long time before opening it. "Ethan," it began. "Mara and I are launching our new company or release. We'd love for you to attend the event next Friday. It would mean a lot to close old chapters and move forward." Aaron, I read it twice. Then again, at 3 a.m, I called Clara. She answered half asleep. "If this isn't an emergency, I'm blocking you." "It might be," I said. "I just got an invitation." "To what? To hell?" She sighed. "Ethan, use English. Aaron and Mara, launch event. They want me there." Her tone sharpened. "You're kidding. I wish I was." "What do they want from you?" "Forgiveness, probably. Or validation." "You're not actually considering it, are you?" "I don't know," I admitted. "Part of me wants to delete it."
Another part wants to walk in there just to show them I survived.
"Survived," she said. "Ethan, you rebuilt yourself." "That's not survival. That's resurrection." I smiled faintly. "Still ghost slinger," she groaned. "Don't give them the satisfaction. They don't deserve your presence." "Maybe it's not about them." "Then what?" "It's about me," I said quietly. "About ending the echo?" She hesitated. "You think walking into their success party will give you peace? Maybe not. But ignoring it feels like running away again. Or it could be self-preservation." "Claire," I said, "for months I've built walls. Maybe it's time to stand without them." There was silence on the line. Then, softly, "Just don't go there to prove anything." "I won't," I promised. "If I go, it'll be to let go." "Text me when you decide," she said. "And if you do go, wear something that says unbothered billionaire, even if you're broke?" I laughed. "Got it." After we hung up, I stared at the screen again. The invitation glowed in the dark like a dare. For 3 days, I ignored it. I buried myself in work, pretending it didn't exist. But every night, I'd find myself hovering over that email, reading it, rereading it. Hating how calm his words sounded on the 4th day, I cracked. I replied, "Congratulations on the launch. I'll be there." My hands shook as I pressed send. That evening, Clara dropped by with coffee. "You decided, didn't you?" I nodded. "Yeah, you're insane," she said, sitting down, probably. "Why?" "Because I need to see them as they are now," I said. "Not as the monsters I painted in my head." "You think that'll help?" "I think it's the only way I'll stop hating phantoms." Looked at me for a long moment. "What if they try to talk, to justify?" "I'll listen. I owe myself that closure." "You owe yourself peace, not explanations." "Maybe they're the same thing," I said. She shook her head. "Just don't let their story overwrite yours." "I won't," I said. "Hey, this time I walk in as me, not the man they broke." Her expression softened. "Then promise me one thing." "What?" "Don't let the fire turn to pride." I nodded, only to purpose. The next few days felt heavier than they should have. I found myself rehearsing what I'd say, then scrapping every version. There was no perfect speech, no cinematic closure. It's just me, trying to breathe inside a memory that never really died. The night before the event, packed nothing but a simple suit. No expectations, no revenge, just curiosity and, maybe, courage. Before bed, Clara texted, "You'll be fine." "Fine isn't the goal," I replied. "Freedom is." She sent back a heart emoji, then walking free. When the morning came, I stood by the mirror adjusting my tie. My reflection didn't look like someone seeking redemption. It looked like someone who had already found it. Still, my chest thudded. My hands trembled. I whispered to myself, it's not about them anymore. The words steadied me. For the first time since that night, everything fell apart. I wasn't afraid of what I'd see. I just wanted to see it, to stand in the same room as my past and not flinch. Maybe that was what moving on really meant. The valet took my keys with a grin that didn't belong to my night. The building shimmered with light glass walls, champagne laughter, expensive perfume. Success had a smell, and I remembered it. Inside, people clinked glasses under gold chandeliers. I recognized too many faces: investors, journalists, old friends pretending they hadn't vanished when I fell. Ethan. A woman from PR blinked at me. Wow, I didn't expect to see you here. I didn't either, I said. She forced a laugh. You look great, really. Thanks, I said. Grief's a good personal trainer. She laughed awkwardly and melted back into the crowd. I stood near the edge of the room, invisible by choice. The stage lights flared, and there they were, Mara and Aaron. Hand in hand, she wore white. He wore pride. Thank you all for coming. Aaron's voice boomed through the speakers. Tonight isn't just a launch, it's proof that belief and persistence can turn pain into power. I almost smiled. He always did love irony. Mara's smile didn't reach her eyes. We've come so far, she said, voice smooth but distant. Orlis began as a dream and, with hard work, it became real. Hard work. That phrase used to mean us. Applause erupted. Cameras flashed. I clapped twice quietly enough to be polite, not enough to lie. As the speeches ended, people flooded the bar area. Conversations buzzed about innovation, disruption, and growth. All the same words we once used when we believed in something pure. I turned, and there she was. Ethan, Mara said softly. You came? Apparently, I replied. Your email was persuasive. She gave a fragile smile. You look different. Payne's a decent sculptor, I said. I didn't mean I know what you meant. I wasn't sure you'd respond. I wasn't sure either. Her gaze dropped. I just wanted peace between us. Peace, I repeated. You don't start wars you can't finish, and then ask for peace when you win. It wasn't like that, she whispered. Then what was it like? Her lips trembled. I made mistakes. Mistakes don't last this long, I said. They end. Choices don't. Before she could answer, Aaron appeared beside her, glass in hand. Well, well. The ghost himself. Still breathing, I said. He smirked. Glad to see you back on your feet. No hard feelings, right? None, I said. You can't have feelings when they're already gone. He laughed. Always dramatic. You could have stayed, you know. Worked with us. We offered. You offered my own company, I said. Generous. Business is business. He shrugged. You taught me that. Took a sip of water. No, I taught you trust. You taught me what happens when it breaks. His smirk wavered. Mara glanced between us, uneasy. Aaron, he ignored her. So, what are you up to these days? Still coding in that tiny apartment? Something like that, I said. I've been working on a project quietly, he said, raising a brow. What kind? Before I could reply, a tall man approached, gray suit, sharp eyes. Excuse me, are you Ethan Cole? I nodded cautiously. He extended his hand. Richard Vance, I've heard about your app Neuralink, right? Predictive AI with adaptive learning? Aaron's expression froze. You've heard of it? Of course, Richard said. Your model's been trending in tech forums. Investors are calling it the next big thing. Aaron laughed too quickly. Really? Didn't know Ethan was still developing. Seems he's doing quite well, Richard replied. We should talk, Ethan. I'd love to schedule a meeting. Sure, I said. Next week? He nodded. Perfect. You've got something special. Keep your phone on, as Richard walked away. Silence stretched between us. The kind that doesn't need volume to hurt. Aaron's jaw tightened. When were you planning to tell anyone? I wasn't, I said. Not everything needs an audience. You used our old framework, didn't you? No, I said. I built my own. From scratch, like I rebuilt myself. Mara's voice was small. Ethan, we never wanted to save it, I said. You both did what you wanted. So did I. Aaron stepped closer. You think you're better than us now? No, I said quietly. Just different. He laughed bitterly. You sound like a monk. Maybe, I said. But monks sleep better. A woman nearby turned. Sorry, did you say you're the creator of Neuralink? I nodded. She smiled. Impressive. We've been following your work at Quantum Edge. Would love to collaborate. Let's talk next week, I said. Aaron looked at me, disbelief flickering into anger. You came here to show off, didn't you? No, I said calmly. I came to remember how far I've walked since the night you pushed me off the edge. His voice dropped. You think you're free of this? Of us? I know I am. Mara whispered, Ethan, please. Don't end it like this. I met her eyes. It ended the night I stopped needing you to say sorry. For a moment, no one spoke. The music faded into background noise. The room spun in soft gold and glass, but all I saw were two ghosts standing in front of me, dressed in success. Hollow underneath. Aaron tried to smile. You've changed. I had to, I said. If love made me blind, pain taught me to see. He opened his mouth, but I didn't stay to hear. I set my glass down, nodded once to Mara, and walked away. People turned as I passed. Not out of pity, but curiosity. Recognition. Outside, the night air hit cold against my skin. The city lights blurred into soft halos. For the first time in years, I didn't feel anger burning in my chest. Just quiet. A clean, unfamiliar quiet. I looked up at the sky and whispered, You taught me what not to trust. And then I walked on, leaving the ghosts to smile at the ruins they called Victory Asterisk. News travels faster when it's ugly? I was coding when Clara burst into my apartment, waving her phone. You've seen this, right? No, I said, still typing. What now? She dropped the phone on my desk. Aaron? Lawsuit? Data theft? It's everywhere. I paused mid-line of code. You're kidding. Do I look like I'm kidding? She said, scrolling. Apparently Arliss used client data without consent. Someone leaked proof. I leaned back, staring at the headlines. Innovation or invasion? And Arliss faces ethics scandal. So, I murmured, Karma finally found the Wi-Fi. Clara half laughed. You're not even surprised? Not really, I said. Always thought rules were suggestions. She folded her arms. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Met her eyes. Enjoying? No. Satisfied, maybe. She smiled faintly. Fair enough. 2 days later, Julian stopped by. He'd been my quiet ally since the partysmart.com. It's the kind of man who didn't need to shout to be heard. He set his coffee down beside me. You've seen the news? I have. Investors are pulling out fast, he said. Arliss is crumbling. I nodded. They built it on sand. Eventually the tide comes in. He studied me and you. You've stayed silent. I said everything I needed to that night, I replied. Julian smiled. That's rare. Most people would gloat. I'm tired of noise, I said. Peace sounds better. He nodded thoughtfully. Keep it that way. We've got our own storm coming, good kind. Investors are interested in your app. They want transparency reports and ethical compliance built in. That's what I wanted from the start, I said. Then we build it right, Julian said. No shortcuts. I extended my hand. Deal. He grinned. You've changed, Ethan. Pain's a better teacher than success, I said. He chuckled. Then you must be a scholar. When he left, I opened my inbox, hundreds of unread messages. Interviews, collaborations, partnership requests. For once, it wasn't about damage control. It was about potential. A soft knock came at my door. I opened it to find Lena, holding 2 cups of coffee. Peace offering, she said, smiling. I didn't know we were at war. Not war, she said. But you've been locked up in here for days. Works easier than people, I said, taking the cup. She followed me inside. You say that like it's a good thing. It keeps me focused. On what? On not turning into them? She sat on the couch. Not everyone's out to hurt you. I know, I said. But it's easier to assume they might. Oh, that's lonely, she said softly. I looked at her. Maybe loneliness is safer. Or maybe it's just fear dressed as wisdom, she said. I smirked. You sound like my therapist. I'm cheaper, she said, sipping her coffee. And less judgmental. I laughed, something I hadn't done freely in months. She smiled. See? You remember how? I guess I do.
Alex.
Silence settled comfortably. Finally, she said, I saw the news about Aaron and Mara. You really didn't say anything? Not a word, I said. Didn't need to. You could have exposed them yourself. I didn't have to, I said. The truth always gets impatient. She tilted her head. You think that's karma? I think it's consequence, I said. Karma is just a fancy word for cause and effect. And Mara? She asked quietly. I hesitated. She'll survive. Maybe she'll even change. Would you forgive her if she did? I already did, I said. But forgiveness isn't the same as reconnection. She'll regret it, Lena murmured. Maybe she already does, I said. But that's her story now, not mine. She looked at me thoughtfully. You sound free. I think I am, I said. For the first time, Lena stood and walked toward the door, then turned back. I like this version of you. What version is that? The one that doesn't chase ghosts? When she left, the apartment felt different, lighter somehow. I looked out the window at the city lights, glowing steady against the dark. Clara texted a few minutes later. Mara deleted her socials. Aaron's investors pulled everything. You won. I typed back. It wasn't a game. Then I added, but I guess I did. Julian called that night. We got approval for funding. You're officially back in business. I smiled. No, Julian. This time, we're starting a new one. He laughed. Whatever you say, partner. After the call, I sat there in silence, the kind that didn't ache anymore. I opened an old folder, photos, code drafts, a picture of Mara and me laughing on the rooftop years ago. For a second, I almost closed it, but then I smiled, because it didn't hurt anymore. The memory stayed. But the weight was gone. I whispered to myself, revenge doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just watches quietly while the truth finishes what it started. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance, soft and slow. I closed my laptop, finished my coffee, and leaned back. This time, when the world fell silent, it didn't feel empty. It felt earned. Asterisk. It was Sunday morning when I finally stopped running. The city was quiet, a rare thing. I found myself in the park near the river, the one I used to avoid because it reminded me of the days I'd spent walking aimlessly after everything collapsed. Now, I just wanted air. I sat on a bench, hands in my pockets. Watching the pigeons fight over crumbs. Beautiful morning, a voice said beside me. I turned. An old man sat there, gray hair, wrinkled hands, a small bag of birdseed in his lap. Guess so, I said. He smiled. You don't sound convinced. Still getting used to quiet, I said. Ah, he said, tossing seed to the birds. Quiet can be loud when your head's full. I laughed softly. You're not wrong, he chuckled. Name's Reeves. Ethan, I said. Ethan, he repeated slowly, like tasting the word. You look like a man thinking about everything all at once. Guilty, I said. Just processing. He nodded. Processing means you survived. Thinking means you're still healing. I thought healing meant forgetting, I said. Reeves shook his head. No, son. Forgetting is just pretending the fire never happened. Healing means you can sit by the ashes without burning. I went quiet. His words hit deeper than they should have. He looked at me sideways. Who hurt you? I hesitated. Someone I trusted. He raised a brow. That narrows it down to nearly everyone. I laughed. Yeah, I guess it does. He smiled. So what did they do? They took something that was mine, I said, and I let them. That's how most theft happens, Reeves said. Not through strength, but through permission. I didn't give permission, I said. He glanced at me. Maybe not with your mouth, but pain needs a door, and we usually build it ourselves. I frowned. That's poetic. Age makes you poetic, he said. Or bitter. Sometimes both. I leaned back. You sound like you've lived through some things. You don't reach my age without collecting ghosts. What do you do with them? I asked. Feed them bread until they stop biting, he said, tossing another handful of seed. I smiled. That easy, huh? He grinned. No, but it's better than starving them. We sat in silence for a moment, watching the birds flutter. Then he said, You still talk to them? To who? The ones who hurt you. In your head. Sometimes, I admitted. Mostly at night. He nodded. People who hurt you don't live in your head for free unless you let them. I turned to him. So what do I do? Evict them? He chuckled. No, let them move out naturally. When their presence stops mattering, they pack up on their own. I thought I was past it, I said quietly. But sometimes I still feel it, the sting. Wounds itch when they heal, Reeves said. That's how you know it's working. I smiled faintly. You're full of metaphors. It's occupational hazard, he said. I used to teach philosophy. Now I teach birds to share. I laughed again. They're terrible students. He nodded. Better than humans? Silence again. But this time, it was gentle. He turned toward me. You ever love someone who broke you? Yes. He nodded. Then you learn the hardest truth. Love doesn't always mean stay. I still dream about her sometimes, I said. And I wake up angry at myself for it. He smiled sadly. That's because you think dreaming means you haven't moved on. But moving on isn't about forgetting. It's about no longer bleeding from the same wound. I looked at him. You sound like you've said that before, he sighed. To myself. Many years ago, what happened? I asked. He smiled faintly. I forgave her. And that was harder than loving her? Did it help? It didn't fix the past, he said, but it freed the future. I stared at the water. I think I'm ready for that. Then you're already doing it, Reeves said. Forgiveness isn't a moment, it's a direction. I sat there, letting his words sink in. The wind moved gently through the trees. The sound didn't hurt anymore. Thank you, I said finally. He shrugged. Don't thank me. Just remember, pain is a visitor, not a roommate. I'll try. He stood slowly, brushing crumbs off his coat. You'll do more than try. You'll live? You leaving? I asked. He nodded. Same time, every morning. Same bench. You'll come back. Maybe I will, I said. Maybe you won't, he said, smiling. Either way, you'll be fine. He started to walk away, cane tapping the pavement. Hey, Reeves, I called out. He turned. Do you believe people change? I asked. He smiled softly. They do. But usually after they stop trying to prove they have. Then he walked on, slow and steady, until the trees swallowed him. I sat there long after he was gone, watching the sunlight shift across the water for the first time in years. I didn't feel chased by memories. I wasn't erasing them, just letting them belong to the past. And somehow, that was enough. Asterisk, it's strange how silence can feel familiar. The cafe hasn't changed. Same corner tables. Same faint smell of roasted beans. Same music humming, just low enough to make you think. I used to come here with her. Now I come alone. Maybe that's progress. The barista smiles. Long time no see? Yeah, I say. Guess I needed the noise. She laughs. Noise helps people think, apparently. Forget, I mutter. I sit near the window. Rain streaks the glass like memory, persistent. For a while, I just watch strangers move in slow motion through the fog. Somewhere in that blur, I keep expecting her to appear. Not because I want her to. Just because habit is harder to kill than love. Still looking for someone? A voice says I turn. Lena stands there, holding her coffee, gentle smile in place. Maybe I say, or maybe I'm just looking for the version of myself that used to wait. She sits down. You always talk like that, half confession, half philosophy. Bad coping mechanism, I say. Makes me sound deeper than I feel. She laughs softly. Or maybe you just feel more than you admit. I stare at the steam curling off my cup. Do you ever stop thinking about the people who broke you? No, she says. But you stop letting them define the shape of your thoughts. It sounds like something Reeves would say. Who's Reeves? Old man from the park. He feeds birds and teaches forgiveness. She smiles. Sounds wise. He told me people who hurt you don't live in your head for free unless you let them. Smart man, she says. You still charging rent? I grin. I'm finally evicting the last tenant. Good, she says. The place looks lighter. Her eyes linger on me a little longer than they used to. I don't flinch this time. I saw Mara's name online yesterday, she says. I didn't, I reply. She's not doing great, I figured. You don't sound angry? I'm not. Lena tilts her head. That's new. It's peace, I say. Feels weird. Quiet, but not empty. She nods. You earned it. Funny, I say. I used to think peace would come when I got answers. And now, I think peace comes when you stop asking questions that don't matter anymore. She sips her coffee. You always had a way with endings. I smile faintly. I had to learn. My story kept ending before I was ready. Maybe it wasn't ending, she says. Maybe it was shifting. Into what? Into whoever you are now. I look around. The cafe glows warm against the gray outside. A couple laughs near the counter. Someone hums along to the music. It doesn't hurt to see anymore, you know, I say. Sometimes I still look for her in crowds. Lena's gaze softens. Out of love? No, I say. Out of habit? Some ghosts don't leave, they just grow quieter. She's silent for a moment. Do you think she ever looks for you? Maybe, I say. But it doesn't matter. We were chapters, not the book. Lena smiles gently. You sound like someone who's finally finished reading. Maybe, I say. Or maybe I'm just ready to write again. She leans back, watching me. What will you write this time? Something honest, I say. No revenge, no regret. Just real, she nods. That's a good place to start. Laughs softly. You talk like Reeves now? Maybe you're rubbing off on me? Dangerous habit, I say. Only if you stop growing, she replies. We fall quiet again. And I realize I don't mind silence anymore. It's not a reminder, no, it's a space I've earned. She glances out the window. You ever think about seeing her again? I used to imagine it, I admit. Every version ended with me saying something perfect. And now? Now I think if it happens, I'll just nod and keep walking. That's not dramatic enough for you, she teases. Drama was her language, I say. Peace is mine. Lena smiles, eyes shining. That sounds like closure. Maybe it is. She finishes her drink and stands. I have to go. You'll be okay? I nod. I think I already am. Good, she says. Because life doesn't wait forever. She starts to leave, then pauses. Ethan. Yeah. Don't forget sometimes peace looks a lot like love when you're not used to it. And then she's gone. I sit there letting the sound of the cafe wrap around me. Cups clinking, footsteps, laughter, all feels lighter. Outside, people pass under umbrellas, faces hidden in the rain. I don't look for Mara among them this time. But the thought still crosses my mind. Old habits die quietly. I remember her laugh. Her voice saying my name like it meant something. Then I remember how it ended. How silence can be louder than betrayal, and I let the memory fade. Not erased, not glorified, just accepted. I stand, drop a few bills on the table, and head for the door. The bell rings softly as I push it open. The air outside smells like new rain. For a second, I think I see her reflection in the glass, a trick of light, maybe. But I don't stop to check. I step into the street. The world feels wide again. I take a breath, slow and steady, and I whisper mostly to myself. You don't get closure from others. You give it to yourself. The morning starts with the sound of waves, and a message that changes everything. Julian calls before sunrise. They signed it, he says, voice trembling with excitement. The deal's official. Your app's going international? For a moment, I just stare at the horizon. We actually did it, he corrects. I just helped with the numbers. I laugh quietly. Guess the broken guy finally built something that works. 8. Julian chuckles. Broken people build the strongest things. Remember that. I hang up, slip my phone into my pocket, and start walking toward the sea. The wind is sharp but alive, brushing salt across my lips. The same beach. The same dawn. But not the same me. There's a fisherman pulling his boat ashore. He nods. Early start? Couldn't sleep, I say. He grins. That's usually when the best ideas show up. Maybe, I reply, or maybe they just finally make sense. He laughs softly and keeps moving. The sky blushes pink and gold, light spilling across the water. I sit on the same rock I once stood on months ago, the morning after everything fell apart. I can still hear the echo of that night, my voice cracking, my chest hollow. Back then I thought my life ended with her. Now I realize it started right there. A voice interrupts my thoughts. Mind if I join you? I turn. Lena stands there, wrapped in a soft gray coat. Her hair catches the wind, sunlight glinting off her eyes. Didn't expect company, I say. Julian told me, she says. About the deal. Word travels fast. I brought coffee to celebrate. She hands me a cup. Black, no sugar. You haven't changed that much, I smile. You remembered. She sits beside me. So, how does it feel? I take a sip, the warmth cutting through the morning chill. It feels quiet, not loud like success usually is, just peaceful. That's what real victory sounds like, she says. I glance at her. You sound like Reeves again. He'd probably approve of this ending, I say softly. He would. We sit in silence for a while, watching the tide crawl closer. Do you ever think about them? She asks suddenly, Mara and Aaron. She nods. Not much anymore, I say. Sometimes a memory hits me like static. But it fades fast. You forgive them? I exhale. I think I forgive the part of me that let them break me. She nods slowly. That's harder. Yeah, but it's the only part that matters. The waves crash softly, steady and patient. You know, I say I used to come here every day after it happened. I'd stand right here and wonder if I'd ever stop feeling small. And now? Now, I don't need to feel big. I just need to feel real, she smiles. You do. For a moment, we just listen to the sea, the wind, the quiet world waking up. Lena speaks first. You're not the same person who walked away from that apartment. I hope not, I say. That version of me was dying. This one's finally living. She looks proud, like she always believed I'd reach this point. I'm glad I saw you get here, she says softly. Me too, I reply. You stayed when no one else did. Oh, she shrugs. Someone had to remind you you're more than what you lost. I smile. You did, then it was worth it. The tide reaches the rock, touching my shoes with cold foam. The sun finally rises, spilling gold across everything it touches. Lena stands. I should head back. I'll stay a little longer, I say. She nods. Don't take too long. You've got a world waiting now. When she walks away, I don't feel alone. The wind feels like company. The sea feels like memory made gentle. I stand, staring at the endless horizon, and whisper to the waves, thank you for breaking me. I wouldn't have become me otherwise. The water rushes closer, cool and bright, swallowing my reflection for a heartbeat before giving it back, and in that reflection, I see not the man who lost everything, but the one who built himself again, piece by piece, in silence. No applause. No revenge. Just peace, the quiet victory I never knew I needed.